an eye on that. And of course, a little bit later, get an update from Broadview, Illinois, right outside of the ICE facility. That's coming up in about 20 minutes. All right, I want to now showcase to you a live look right now outside of the White House. Big moments today with President Trump and Netanyahu unveiling the Gaza peace plan at the White House. For the very latest, Fox News' Caroline Shively with this update.
On Monday, President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced they've agreed to a plan to end the war in Gaza.
It's called Peace in the Middle East.
But for the plan to go into effect, Hamas will have to agree to the terms which heavily favor Israel.
All these goals must be achieved because we didn't fight this horrible fight, sacrificed the finest of our young men to have Hamas stay in Gaza and threaten us again and again and again with these horrific massacres.
Trump's plan calls for the withdrawal of Israeli troops from Gaza as certain conditions are met. All Israeli hostages would be released in exchange for hundreds of Palestinian prisoners and detainees. Hamas would also be disarmed, and a nonpartisan group called the Board of Peace would govern Gaza.
Now it's time for Hamas to accept the terms of the plan that we've put forward today.
The fighting has dragged on since 2023 when Hamas militants killed around 1,200 Israeli civilians in a surprise attack. In the 2 years since, Israel's military offensive in Gaza has killed more than 66,000 Palestinians.
I challenge the Palestinians to take responsibility for their destiny, because that's what we're giving them. We're giving them responsibility for their destiny, fully condemn and prohibit terrorism and earn their way to a brighter future.
The meeting comes as Israel has grown more isolated in the international community. 150 nations now recognize Palestinian statehood. In Washington, Caroline Shively, Fox News.
Caroline, thanks so much for that update. And we want to continue to talk about this big moment. The framework is there now. Will it become a reality? That is what the world really now is waiting on. I want to bring in our special guest to help break it all down for us. This is the former ambassador to Israel. Please welcome everyone, Edward Jajarian. Thanks so much for being with us, Edward. And first off, I just want to get your take on what you thought of the meeting and this 20-point plan that came out of it.
Well, thank you for having me. I think this is a positive development. For many months now, the goal of the administration has been to achieve a ceasefire and to get the Israeli hostages released in exchange for Palestinian prisoners also. So that has been very elusive. And Prime Minister Netanyahu has continued what his quest for what he calls total victory is to totally decimate Hamas further than the IDF has already done and claim a victory with a demilitarized and de-radicalized Gaza. The point is that in the interim, Israel has become very isolated, as your commentator mentioned, because of the incredible humanitarian disaster in Gaza. So it's losing what is called soft power. It's losing its reputation. It's gone to a very serious effect with worldwide protests. And therefore, Netanyahu is sort of in between a rock and a hard place because the hard place is President Trump on one hand, and the other hard place is his coalition government that includes some very ethno-nationalist Israeli leaders who want to annex Gaza, who want to annex the West Bank. And that's simply not in the cards of the international community. And it is not the policy of the United States administrations in the past, and I believe of this administration. So the good news is that President Trump has personally gotten involved. And he has, in consultation with many Arab leaders, including Saudi Arabia, UAE, Egypt, etc., they've come together with a plan that's comprehensive, that deals with the immediate situation in Gaza, the ceasefire, hostage releases, rehabilitation of the Gaza Strip, plans for reconstruction, etc. And to me, what's really important, and this I believe is the first time I've seen the administration come to this point, point, is to outline the need for a political horizon for a comprehensive settlement of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Now, that's not for tomorrow, because there's much to be done between now and that end goal. But if I've read some reports that they're accurate, that the administration has made a point that the U.S. will facilitate a dialogue between Israel and Palestinian leadership to establish a political horizon for peaceful coexistence and determine a future political framework. To me, that's very important, because this is what it's all about. Without a political solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, we're going to see more Gaza wars. We're going to see more terrorism. We're going to see more instability in the Middle East. When I was ambassador to Israel, the prime minister was Yitzhak Rabin, a great statesman, an Israeli warrior who became a statesman when he became prime minister. And he told me, and he made public, that there is no military solution to our conflict with the Palestinians, only a political solution. So now President Trump has outlined this comprehensive plan with the Board of Peace, all sorts of arrangements that have to be worked out. The devil's in the details on all of this, but this is a very important step forward.
Yeah, Edward, that's such a great insight. And I thought that was so interesting, too, that point 19 that you were mentioning there with the coexistence, about how that could be, the future there if those other points are all met. Now, what about Hamas? Are they going to take this off-ramp?
Well, part of this approach, which I'm intrigued by, is that the president is leaning on our Arab partners, especially Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Egypt, to lean hard, and Jordan, to lean hard on Hamas to accept this deal, that enough is enough, and that they should move forward. And if not, the president made clear in his press conference that, if everything fails, Israel will proceed its military options. So I think the key role for the Arabs here is to lean hard on Hamas to accept the deal. Can I make one point that's really important?
Absolutely.
Really important to understand. I mean, stepping back from all of this, you hear a lot about between the Jordan River and the Mediterranean Sea in different contexts. My definition of that, which I think bears repeating, is that between the Jordan River and the Eastern Mediterranean, there are approximately 7.2 million Palestinian Arabs and approximately 7.2 million Israeli Jews. Neither one are going anywhere in that narrow strip of land. And even the most extreme elements on each side, let's take the Israeli side, the annexations, the extremists who want to drive the Palestinians out of their land, they can't get rid of all these Palestinians, no matter what they do. And on the other side, Hamas cannot eliminate 7.2 Israeli Arabs. It's impossible. So the two-state solution is the preferred solution. I think what happened today gives it another breathing space. Much has to be done. And I think there's a grand bargain here that President Trump can mediate if he has the political will to do so.
And lastly, Edward, what did you make there? It seemed like pretty strong language from President Trump saying that if Hamas were to reject this, or reject it maybe in the middle of coming to terms with the end, that the U.S. would back Israel, pretty much finishing the job in Gaza.
Yeah, I think that the president, he's a very clever politician, and he knows what Bibi Netanyahu's the domestic political scene in opposition is. And I think he was basically telling Bibi, you sign up on this plan, enough is enough. You sign up on this, and if everything goes asunder, well, you can always go back to what you've been doing. I think that was a political leaf that was thrown in Bibi's direction because of his internal political situation.
There we go. Edward, thank you so much for joining us here on Live Now from Fox. Great insights, as always. Love to have you on anytime. Thanks so much for being with us, and you take care.
Thank you.
All right, everyone, and we will continue to track the very latest here with this 20-point plan. Also have some more analysis on the back end here of this 2-minute break right here on Live Now from Fox.